What's up, y'all?
Hey.
So, anyone that knows me, I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to like 90s, 2000s. So, in honor of my shirt, for those that used to watch Nickelodeon, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Submitted for the approval of the Medicine for Nightmare Society. I call this story the tale of the shattered storyteller. So, gonna read some poems from my book, No Whiskey, No Tears. I was talking to Eric earlier about how I've been writing for like 16 years now, and like when I first started writing, it was more like out of journaling and like trying to get out of my own head. I was very cliche. I was a love poet. So that's where we'll start this tale with one called Recounting My Journey. My sister sometimes tells me that I think too much. And people tell me that I care too much. So when I think about what I care for the most, sometimes it gets to be too much. That's why I learned to ease my mind by recounting my journey from going from 1 to 10 back to 1. 1. The first poem I ever wrote wasn't meant to be read as one, an 8-page handwritten letter to express that I missed her, but her name was still the trigger to resume my torture and sleepless nights, so I started it, Dear Love. 2. The number of times that I lost her, the first when I left to pursue my dreams, and the second after I came back when, with tears in her eyes, she asked me not to ask her to come with me. 3. Those 3 little words that neither of us can say, but know are true because of the subtle way that she let me know that I have a way with words, and long ago I told her that she was my first muse. 4. For her, I turned notebooks into boxes of Kleenex, each sheet pre-used, wiping the pain from my eye after drawing ink from my chest swell so she knows that it comes from the heart. 5. The number of tissue boxes ready to be reached into, each containing different designs, lined with words to kiss her cheek when she cries, to remind her that someone understands a woman's worth. 6. Always throwing up the ALK as a reminder that no one wants to be seen crying or at their weakest, so I write poetry so that she can have my thoughts and expression to replay in private. 7. Heaven knows I feel so much closer to God now that I can relate to how it feels to have lost her, after she walked out of heaven and then out of my life. 8. The number of moments of silence that I've held in her honor, not that I have run out of things to say, I just need a moment to compose myself because the black hole inside my chest has threatened to crush many who have said that they've had a crush and who've gotten too close. 9. Like the 9th hour when God raised his son out of hell because of love, I would walk across the sun raising hell, knowing that I'd be burned if in my dying breath I could once again call her mine. 10. The last 10 words she said to me. Don't stop loving because of me. Someone else needs you. 10. The number of reasons I just gave to show that I know what it means to have truly loved and how bad loss can feel. 9. The average number of women I'll run into on any given day who can't seem to find a good man. And it's not because of any daddy issues, more like a love issue, because even if her father wasn't around, a gentleman should have stepped in and loved her twice as much. 8. Is the number for new beginnings, so I live each week to the fullest because it always starts over after 7, and the past won't resurface unless you bring it up. 7. The number of times tonight that I'll be called soft-spoken, smooth, soulful, or sharp, but I just want to be seen as sincere. 6. Still throwing up the ALK as a reminder that even though you might not want to hear a love poem, it might be exactly what somebody else needs to get to tomorrow. 5. The ones that I do this for her, for me, for lovers, for those who've never known or forgotten how to love. 4, which equals 2 plus B, so every day I must decide to be or not to be what I portray in writing. 3, those 3 little words that I hope come to mind when I mention love. I still believe. 2, just us two. Just us two is what I care about, not what happens between him and you or her and you. I just want you to see the best in you and live that way. Today, tonight, tomorrow, and so on as I move to 1. The number of lives I'd be happy to have touched with my words on my search for the one who needs me. Thank you. It's funny because like heartbreak got me into writing poetry. And love is a very motivating and powerful thing because from my lovely wife, who you heard earlier, Sylvia, she's actually the one that encouraged me to start the publishing company, encouraged me to apply for the poet laureate position, and shout out to Mrs. So next poem is called In the Shadow of Tears, because just like with heartbreak, sometimes we need to heal. Mm-hmm. Simple as that, and sometimes we don't realize our hurt can hurt others. So this is in honor of that. I love you, but I've chosen darkness. In the dark, it's easier to get away with mistakes and can be blamed on the lack of vision. No one can see your true intentions or emotions. And if you're quiet enough, no one will even know you were there. Sometimes I feel like destroying something beautiful, and I'd hate for that to be you. Not that I would do it intentionally, but I've been in the dark for so long that my eyes might not adjust quick enough to realize that it was you that I was hurting. My apology would be overshadowed by the regret that I knew better. Insincere because I knew that I would do this, but I was too selfish to give you up. Sentencing myself to seeing the brightness of your smile dimmed by my cloudy judgment, left caught in the shadow of your tears. Thank you. All right, gonna do one more love poem and then switch it up a little bit. This one I really like because, so for those that like study writing styles, it's a palindrome. So basically what that means is you can read the poem from the first line to the last line, or the last line to the first line, and it's the exact same poem. So if you think of the word noon, N-O-O-N, you can spell it backwards, forwards, and it means the same thing. So this one's called From Love to Hate from Love. Because I've always loved her, I hate what happened to us. All because we agreed that we didn't want our reputation to be greater than the sum of its parts. Things got out of hand once others' perspectives broke in, and I came out the bad guy. I tell her that she's the only one that gets me, and that's the truth, though she's not the only one that's intrigued by me. To those that don't know us, it appears like I've become what they expected me to be. I just let them believe what they believe so my real goals can be realized unhindered. I've been at this long enough to know how to handle the hazards, but still flirt with danger to keep things interesting. I keep my distance because that's what good guys do, and I don't want a morning of regrets. Thanks to my friend's suggestions, some nights run long, talking shop and relieving stress. I soon get talked into proving I'm as good as rumors say, only to be found surrounded by glass walls, quickly filling up with tears containing memories of fights, hurt feelings, and assumptions. Bottle in hand so that if drowning were to occur, that it would at least taste good going down. And then she left me. Though she became the one jealous of all the attention that I get, she kept saying that I was too sensitive and took things too personal. She kept saying that I was too sensitive and took things too personal, though she became the one jealous of all the attention that I gave. And then she left me, bottle in hand so that if drowning were to occur, that it would at least taste good going down, only to be found surrounded by glass walls, quickly filling up with tears containing memories of fights, hurt feelings, and assumptions. I soon get talked into proving that I'm as good as rumors say. Thanks to my friend's suggestions, some nights run late, talking shop and relieving stress. But I still keep my distance because that's what good guys do, and I don't want a morning of regrets. I've been at this long enough to know how to handle the hazards, but still flirt with danger to keep things interesting. I just let them believe what they believe so that my real goals can be realized unhindered. To those that don't know us, it appears that I've become what they expected me to be. Though she's not the only one intrigued by me, I tell her that she's the only one that gets all of me. And that's the truth. Things got out of hand once others' perspectives broke in, and I came out the bad guy. All because we agreed that we didn't want our reputation to be greater than the sum of our parts. I hate what happened to us, because I've always loved her. Thank you. All right, so one thing about writing, I've always believed like in the power of words and how what we say can manifest. So if you say, oh, I always, so one thing me and my wife always say is we always find parking, and it, for whatever reason, always seems to happen. So it only took like a couple minutes for us to find unpaid parking out here. So with that, the things that people tell us and that we take in and believe, a lot of times we're not as successful or even try new things because people say that we can't. Well, I like to say, who told you? Mm-hmm. While walking in this jungle that we call Earth, many will try to poke holes in the fabric of others' self-worth to patchwork their own lives. Mm-hmm. So I ask, who told you you were flawed? Who told you you were lacking something? Who told you that your curls needed to be straight? Was it the ones that don't actually have them? Mm-hmm. The same ones who produce products that strain your hair by weakening it, slowly losing its shine and ability to hold itself together, breaking locks, leaving it brittle, and continuously shedding its former beauty. Who told you you weren't the right size? As long as you're not so heavy that you make light of your health or too frail to stand strong in a storm, you're a walking work of art. Each stretch mark tells a story. The one on your thighs grew from carrying the weight of the world, yet you still stand strong. And what about the ones on your side, reminding you of when you first learned to cook for yourself and others? Who told you that you needed to wrap your frame in designer clothes? It often costs the same to make as the lesser known brands, but with the right seal of approval, logo, companies can charge more. They're often worn by those needing validation by wearing the same things as celebrities. What is a celebrity? People behaving crazily and some celebrate it. Why? Because of their freedom to express themselves? Because of that, I sometimes shed a tear. Who told you that men can't cry? Was it the ones that say that tears are a sign of weakness? It sometimes takes more strength to let them fall than to bottle them up. Don't let the pressure build up only for it to flare out of control onto whoever might be too close for comfort but too far for understanding. I don't understand those hating on my honey graham cracker caramel complexion. Who told you that your chocolate skin wasn't gorgeous? Was it the same ones who tanned to bridge the gap between our tones? The same ones whose skin isn't as tested as ours? You're full of melanin looked at by society as a possible felon in waiting, when in reality, like a melon in waiting, you're ripe with potential. Who told you that you aren't smart? Was it the ones that have $200,000 receipts? Degrees that say that they are? Some have graduated school but still haven't learned their lesson. Who told you that you were less because you've been through more? Don't you know that even diamonds have flaws and are made through almost unbearable pressures? Who dared to tell you that you couldn't make your dreams come true? You'll never know your capacity unless you're willing to test your limits. Learn from mistakes and not be afraid of the unknown. Who made you ashamed of what you don't have instead of proud of your gifts and experiences? Did you eat that fruit that looked good but turned out to be rotten? Has it made you always second guess trying to take a bite of something new? Weren't you created pure, born beautiful, cut from the fabric of holy origins, essentially set apart by your uniqueness? Who told you that no one cared or would ever love you? Does everyone have the same eye color? Do we all grow to be the same height? No matter how overwhelming the majority may seem, people are not all the same. The right ones just haven't found you yet. And just don't hide or stay silent when they come looking. Thank you. How much more time? Okay. One more? Just one more. Two more. Awesome. All right. So, let's see which cheat. All right. So, in the theme of shattered storytelling, this one's called Through the Looking Glass. Hey there, darkness. How are you? I'm fine. You didn't let me finish. I'm finally fine accepting that I'm anything but fine. I'm tonight's entertainment, walking the fine line of day and night, dream and reality. Every hope out of the ordinary jolts me back awake, gasping for air. So I hold my breath to avoid drowning in this sea of madness. But I've realized that you have to be a little bit crazy to make it around here. There ain't always sunshine on this side of the moon. I sit alone among the stars, trying to see what they're shooting for and to help them recognize their own shine. But I can't always be that comforting smile and encouraging word. Sometimes the craters on the dark side fill up and can no longer be iced over. Sometimes I can't be me and have to be myself. I'll show you all the best sides, but for the worst purposes. So I suggest you tread lightly in my vicinity because I'm stepping sharply, leaving bloody footprints in my wake. A jack of hearts with an axe to grind where if you turn it upside down, you'll see that it's nothing more than a bleeding spade. A frown hidden by a handstand. All tricks aside, even if you look in my eyes, you might still see a disguise because you really don't understand me when I try to be clear. I'm as deep as the shallow end of the sea. I'll let you see straight to the bottom, but you still won't know me because you don't know what's underneath the sand or what's been washed away. Who knows? You might find it through the looking glass that fell overboard, lost along with many tales from my journey left in the backwash of bottles. Swallowed by the deep end, I kick back and just go with the flow because my GPS is turned into grainy static. The station stays the same, but always changes if you read between the lines. Connect the dots and you'll find out that they are just dots connected by lines. But half of the ones making the connection will say otherwise. And therein lies the joke of illumination. Hello, sunshine. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Thank you. Woo! One more and I'm out of here. So this one is called Conscientious, especially as I've, kind of going back to when I first started writing, it was a lot of therapy. It was therapeutic for me. So some of them were very angry poems. And some of them were good at masking of who it was about. And some of them were like, not this so mofo. And especially as I have gained the platform of having my open mic and having people hear my poems, sometimes you do still need to let it out. I mean, this is true. But at the same time, I always try to filter what I let out through this poem. It's called Conscientious. Quick commercial break. So, if you are in Richmond area, next Thursday, we have our open mic at Kobe's. It's called Talent Night. We do it every third Thursday of the month, so the next one will be this Thursday. The featured performer is Protected Poet, who Grand Slam champion of Berkeley Slam, was on their 2023 team. Come on out. It's a good time, right across from Bart, so you don't even gotta drive if you don't want to. I do have flyers, so holla at me after the show. So last one is called Conscientious. Oh, sorry. Quick Additional commercial break. I am the owner of Afterword Press, so I'm looking at you, Elle. Anyone that has work that they want to get copyrighted or help with structuring or even planning out their book, whether you're in the beginning stages or you're in the finished stretch, holla at me. I have cards, we have a website. Yeah. So, last poem. Conscientious. Dear friend, please be responsible with your words. Please be responsible for your words. Though you sometimes use could've, should've, would've, beens to patchwork tattered memories, be careful choosing the shades used to paint your inspiration. You'll say that they'll never see it or hear it once it's finished, yet you put it on full display. Yet you tell me not to worry because it's framed in a way to hide identities. But what if they do see it? What if they do recognize all your familiar tendencies? Would they be proud to have been your muse? Would it make them see the error and any ways to become a better person? Or would it make things worse? Does your portrait embody them as they are or as they were? Does it tear them down to the level that you've painfully pulled yourself up from?
Oops.
You might be right. I could be overthinking things. After all, they're only words. But correct me if I'm wrong. In some instances, isn't God himself called the Word? Living and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the vision of soul and spirit, bone and marrow? Yes, my friend, words can cut deep. We've been hurt so much and it's taken so long to heal that it's no wonder that we're expert at opening up old wounds, scribing new scars into flesh, and crumbling others' confidence from the inside out. Like Frankenstein, we'll put pieces together, giving life to the wretched. It's hard to look away because we'll package it with just enough lust and disgust that people can't help but to rush to see something memorable. But will they keep their distance to avoid the risk of getting ripped to shreds? So what's your end game? Would you rather be a speaker for the dead and dying or a speaker for the lost? Give voice to those who have lost smiles, lost love, lost relationships, lost a sense of self, lost motivation, or even lost hope. Be a beacon for those who've become lost in transition, lost in the motion, and lost in the commotion. Do it because you were once lost, and sometimes still wander off the path. Leave a guide to growth for yourself and others. Just don't do it at the expense of another. Say what should be said, and vent in a vacuum when your growth will wither those around you. You have a responsibility, not just as a writer, but as a person. Sincerely, your conscience. Thank you.
All right, give it up one more time for Stephen Sharpe, y'all. Make sure you check out his show on Thursday. And I'm looking at certain people. Make sure you grab a card for After the Press. I'm looking at specific people right now.